I went through the historical comps for Cam Boozer, AJ Dybantsa, and Darren Peterson, and here's what I found out. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, before we get into this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, so like I said, I went through all the historical comps for the top 3 players in this draft. Maybe Caleb Wilson jumps into the top 3. I know I love him, but it certainly sounds like these are the top 3 players. And I did a worst case scenario and best case scenario for these comps for these players. So let's start off with Cam Boozer. And by the way, this was pretty rudimentary. I didn't do extremely specific. I started going through college comps and NBA comps, and I felt like college comps were not very good to go because basically college doesn't always show the best players. Some players didn't do very well in college and developed into something amazing, like a Giannis, who wasn't even in, college basketball, but from overseas. And then some players were great in college and didn't pan out. So I compared them, their college stats to NBA players. So anyways, for Cam Boozer, I just went with players from 6'9 to 6'11 that averaged 20 plus points and 10 plus rebounds per game. The worst case scenarios, here's the list. Shareef Abdur-Rahim, 6'9. Carlos Boozer, 6'9. Kevin Love, 6'10. Derek Coleman, 6'10. Jermaine O'Neal, 6'11. And Zach Randolph, 6'9". Those are the worst case scenarios potentially for Cam Boozer. Now, that's pretty great. I mean, if Cam Boozer turns into Shareef Abdur-Rahim, that's a 20 plus point per game scorer that was really fun to watch, athletic, and could do a little bit of everything. His dad, in all honesty, is a very good comp for him. In a lot of ways, I look at Cam Boozer as a Carlos Boozer with a 3-point shot who could do a lot, all-star player, played for Team USA. Derek Coleman was one of those players that everyone thought would be an absolute superstar, and he was super multi-talented in every aspect of his game. It just never panned out because he was kind of a hothead, made some poor decisions. So those are the worst case scenarios. And those are all players that were all-stars, all NBA, some of them. Fantastic comps, to be honest. Now, the best case scenarios, here were the best case scenarios. These were a little bit hard to find, to be honest. Karl Malone, 6'9". Tim Duncan, 6'11". Nikola Jokic, 6'11". Chris Webber, 6'9". Karl Anthony Towns, 7 foot. I actually felt like Karl Anthony Towns is a pretty good comp for Cam Boozer because of the shooting, multi-talented, can do a lot of different things. This season, Karl Anthony Towns, who obviously is in the finals right now, has shown to be a really good passer, and they've done some Jokic-esque things with the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns, and I could see that happening with Carlos Boozer. The only issue with some of these comps is that these guys are like 6'11", and Karl Anthony Towns is 7 foot. Cam Boozer, most likely going to be a power forward, but he can shoot the ball, he can do everything, he can handle the ball. He's showing more things in his workouts that he can kind of handle in the mid-range, so maybe there's an element where he can be a little bit of a wing, not just a power forward. We'll see. Defensively, there's going to be some question marks, though, with Boozer. So most likely he's going to be a power forward. Kind of in the vein, best case scenario, Karl Malone was an MVP. Tim Duncan was a multi-championship caliber player, but Tim Duncan was also a rim protector and an elite defensive player. So Cam Boozer has to show some things to hit those different marks. We'll see if he can. All right, now let's go to AJ Dybantsa. For him, I put 6'7 to 6'10, 20-plus point per game scorers. Pretty simple kind of search there. So Brandon Ingram, 6'8". These are the worst-case scenarios, right? Brandon Ingram, 6'8". Ricky Davis, 6'7". Anton Jamison, 6'9". David West, 6'9". Luol Deng, 6'9". Rashard Lewis, 6'10". Michael Beasley, 6'10". Rudy Gay, 6'8". And Shareef Abdur-Rahim again at 6'9". Sharif Abdul-Rahim probably deserves a little more credit. He was a versatile big that could score 20 plus and also rebound the ball. So those are the worst case scenarios. Obviously, they're bigger players, wings that could score. And one thing we know for sure is that in this league, lots of teams have a lot of hopes and dreams for the 6'8", 6'10", in that range player that can hopefully lead them to the promised land. And, you know, some of these players were on bad teams, and it's like Bill Simmons mentions, you know, the bad team, good score, big stats, bad team guys. That's a lot of these, kind of the Anton Jamesons, the Ricky Davises, and so on. So, you know, that's what you hope that AJ Dybantsa doesn't turn into. Now, I really think he's not going to be one of these guys because I think Dybantsa is so multi-talented, and the talent level and the skill set is so high. In a lot of ways, I think just Dybantsa just has to refine his skills, not necessarily find or develop things that he hasn't shown. I think Dybantsa is going to be incredible. So the best case scenarios, and these are big time names because the big time names are in this range. LeBron James, 6'9", Kevin Durant, 6'11", Dominique Wilkins, 6'8", Jason Tatum, 6'8", Paul George, 6'8". I actually think Jason Tatum might be 6'10". Tracy McGrady, 6'10". I had him listed in the article. I got to fix that. But 6'10", Kawhi Leonard, 6'7" to 6'8", Carmelo Anthony, 6'8". Some of those guys are the all-time greats. LeBron James, in my opinion, the second best player of all time. Kevin Durant, championship winner. Jason Tatum led his team to a championship. These are great, great players. Tracy McGrady is just spoken of in hushed tones with his size and talent. So, incredible players. If AJ Dybantsa can, I think AJ Dybantsa can be on that caliber, at a minimum, Tracy McGrady. And if he's got players around him, like if he does go to like the Utah Jazz and he's got lots of talent around him, why can't he be like Jason Tatum and lead a team to a championship? I think he can 100% be Jason Tatum. We'll see, but he's going to be talented. He's going to be a really fun player to watch. I think he absolutely can reach that range, and I think it's that talent level that gets him there. All right, finally, AJ Dybantsa, Darren Peterson. What I did here was players between 6'5" and 6'6". A few are in the 6'7" range, but I felt like they were comparable. Let's go. So, worst case scenario, DeMar DeRozan, 6'6", Zach LaVine, 6'5", Aaron Aflalo, 6'5", Kevin Martin is listed at 6'7", Jordan Clarkson, 6'4", and by the way, these are players that average 20 plus points per game and are in this height range. Jordan Clarkson, 6'4", Michael Redd, 6'6", Eric Gordon, 6'4", Tyreek Evans, 6'6", Jamal Murray, 6'4", and Gilbert Arenas at 6'4". Those are kind of the worst case scenarios for Darren Peterson. Tyreek Evans, if you'll remember, had that incredible rookie season, and then it just didn't really quite happen after that. Jordan Clarkson, obviously, in my opinion, is the worst on that list. And then you've got some guys like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan who have been good scorers, but never quite could lead their teams very far in the playoffs or even to the playoffs. So those are the worst case scenarios. The best case scenarios, 6'4" to 6'6", 20 plus point per game scorers. The list is pretty incredible. Anthony Edwards, 6'4", Dwayne Wade, 6'4", Kobe Bryant, 6'6", Devin Booker, 6'5", SGA, 6'6", Vince Carter, 6'6", Brandon Roy, 6'6", Michael Jordan, 6'6". There is an archetype both for AJ Dybantsa and Darren Peterson that leads teams to championships if they hit the absolute best case scenario of what they can become. I really like the SGA comp for Darren Peterson because I feel like SGA is a score first, and then when he gets double teams, he recognizes them well and passes out of it to the open man. He is not an elite passer, but he is a 3 assists per game type of guy that can, you know, maybe he's averaging 5. I haven't looked, actually, off the top of my head. I don't know what SGA is averaging assists per game. But I think that what SGA does Darren Peterson 100% can emulate. And I do think that Darren Peterson can score like SGA does. Now, the thing is with Cam Boozer and AJ Dybantsa and Darren Peterson, we are all looking at them glass half full. Chances are one or two of these guys may just not pan out. Now, I think that this draft is special. I think, we typically have hopes that one of the players in the draft can develop certain things. I think that Darren Peterson and AJ Dybantsa are so talented, and the gifts, the physical gifts combined with the skill set are just so elite. I have a hard time not seeing them be in the best case scenario realm. Do I think that Darren Peterson is going to be Michael Jordan? No, I don't think so. Michael Jordan is obviously the best player of all time, but I do think that he can be SGA. And I don't think that that's much of a stretch when you consider his athleticism and his scoring ability when you watch the film and what he does. And then you combine that with the fact that that Darren Peterson is a two-way player, high-level defensive player, something we see from SGA, who's a nice steals, can defend, plays within the defense of his team, and is not a liability. I think that Darren Peterson can do the exact same thing. So these are the comparison, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Who do you think are the comparisons for these players? Let me know in the comments. Like the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the members, and thank you so much to the All-Stars. The channel is growing like crazy right now. I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun. I will talk to you next time.